In this slide, you see a command where I'm assigning a shift to myself. This is built using Python's click CLI. The nice thing about CLI, it's fast and easy to develop compared to a web application. But the challenging part is it's hard to distribute and update. Our operations team is mostly non-technical, which means installing a Python environment, installing the dependencies, and keeping the command line application up to date is a pain, and it's a no-go. So what used to happen before was our operations team used developers as a proxy to run these commands, and we realized that this wasn't a scalable process. So we had to come up with a better solution. What we did was transform all of our CLI into a chatbot. We had a wealth of commands, and everything had to work through this chatbot. The way things work is operation team executes the command in Slack and gets the response back in Slack. We removed the developers out of this equation, so it makes developers happy and more productive. It came with a few additional things like authentication, because it comes through Slack, authorization, because we can control who can execute what command in which channel, and we also have audit login because of Slack. Like whenever someone executes a command, it records when exactly that command was run and in which channel. And all this was a one-time integration. Like we didn't have to spend a lot of effort in migrating any of our commands. And we continue, even today, we continue to build applications without having to worry about how things are wired. So this is what it looks like in Slack. You're running the same command again. It says the shift has already been assigned because I already previously did it. But the entire execution happens in Slack. Wobot callout is a special keyword that we use to identify that it's a command, because we use the Slack channel for collaboration as well. So here's what you need to build such an application: a CLI framework. We use Click, a chat application like Slack, but it can be anything else like Microsoft Teams or Discord. And then you need a web application. So here's how things work. Whenever a user enters a message in Slack, we have configured a webhook that fires from Slack and calls a web application. The web application receives user, channel, and the message that was executed. The Flask application does some filtering. We check if the user is authorized to run the command in a particular channel, and then we execute the command. We do other kinds of filtering here. Remember I mentioned we use Wobot as the prefix. If it's other things, we ignore those as non-commands. And once we have executed the command, we send the response back to Slack. So here's how a process is handled. This is a handler in our web application which receives Slack channel, user ID, and the command. The first thing that we do is check if the user can run this particular command in the given channel. That's our authorization. Here's the secret sauce. This is CLI runner, which is part of Click's testing framework. I wish they hadn't put it in a testing framework because it has a lot of potential. CLI runner lets us programmatically run commands. So in this case, we are running the commands in a web application. Then we use shellx. It's basically to split the commands in a format that is acceptable by CLI runner. And then we invoke the runner to get the exit code of the application of this command, and also the output, which is posted back in Slack. Now, wasn't that simple? If you have any questions about how this integration works, I'm more than happy to answer. Here's my Slack handle. And a small plug, we are a Python shop, we are hiring. Here's the link if you're interested.